Hi everyone, typical indie here again, and time for something a little bit more different than usual. Now, of course, I always recommend the good or interesting indie games to buy on Steam, but sometimes not all games I find are good. And in this case, it's two brothers. This is a relatively new indie game that just came out. It's a greenlit game. And it has a very pressing flaw to it. This game defaults at 320-240. This is by far the smallest screen I have ever seen in a Steam game. Now you may think, wait a minute, why is the screen so big on the video? Well, that's because, of course, I stretched it out for you guys. Honestly, this is the biggest I've seen it so far. Now, it gets more in-depth to it than that. The developers say that they have two ways of actually turning on full screen. One is the classic Alt-Enter method, and another is just hitting the maximize button on the window. Well, I'll show you what that does here in a second. Here's the next problem. When you go to configure here, there's absolutely nothing to change the settings, so that's out of the question. Okay, so here's what happens when I do Alt-Enter. Yeah, nothing. Just completely messes the game up. And what happens when I do maximize? Nothing. It also does nothing. Now, usually I don't like to complain about things, but this was not an early access game. This is a full-fledged game. If it was early access, then I would be okay with this issue. But it's not early access. And I do understand that they're going for a vintage Game Boy look. I don't know if you kind of picked up on that from the start menu, but if you're going for a vintage Game Boy look, don't literally try to recreate the size of the screen from the Game Boy. I remember those screens. They were small. You had to really, stick your face up to it just to actually see the screen. In this case, I'm not going to pick up my computer just to see the screen. I can hardly read the text at that size. Which completely renders the game unplayable for me. And that's why I'm making this video. Even at that, there's other small issues as well, like the game can't run on desktop. Apparently that causes a save glitch. So you have to make a separate folder for it, or at least move the folder into program files. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to come off as harsh here, because there's obviously games that are way worse off than this is. But I feel like I had to have done a PSA on this, because otherwise people would see that I bought it, or at least any of you guys, and they would know that I have a pretty good eye for indie games, and there would be the remote 0.1% slight chance that you would actually buy it. And then you would also run into the same issues I have. So, hopefully, this was for a good cause. I do apologize for not having an Outlast video uploaded. I will work on that later on tonight. And I will also make sure to update you guys on whether or not this game actually becomes playable from some kind of update. Here's hoping it does, because honestly the game looked really interesting and I wanted to do videos on it. But if I can't even play the game, how am I going to do a video on it? So yeah, that's about it for this little PSA slash, well, I don't know if I call it a video log. More of a PSA than anything. As always, feel free to leave a like and comment if you so desire. If you're new to the channel and you liked what you watched, feel free to subscribe for more. And yeah, that's about it. As always, thanks for watching.